I'm Stacy. I am the owner and the creator, I suppose you could call, of Dreamglade Shamanic Healing Center in the Peruvian Amazon, and we've been open for the last 3 years. It's been 4 years actually since I started, but 3 years we've been open to the public. I'm going to give you the royal tour. We're going to start with the beast, the truck, which is the lifeblood of the center, because it brings in all the food, all the fuel, all the building materials, furniture, solar panels, water. Without the truck, nothing works. Here, I'll show you to the bathrooms. Good showers, lots of pressure. And the bathrooms also was like, most people just build a little square hut with some toilets, wood. And I had this amazing idea for the toilets, and I love the fact that I did it, but I mean, it was so labor intensive. Bathrooms, 1, 2, 3 bathrooms. Nice, modern, clean, flushing toilets. Keep them nice and clean. Nice and close to the maloca, so people need them during the ceremony. They're easy to get to. We planted lots of medicinal plants on the land. We're continuing to plant lots of medicinal plants. This is Toei, the famous Toei. This is Bobinsana. This one here is Malba. It's a really beautiful plant. This is Piñón Colorido. Over there we have Ahosacha, mango tree. This is the maloca. This is where we do the ceremonies. You want to come through? It's looking a bit rough because we've had a ceremony the night before and we're getting ready for the morning talk.
Who's this guy over here?
This is Drew, #1 retreat assistant dude. He takes care of everybody. We're getting ready now just to do the morning talk. We do a talk every morning after the ceremony, just so people can process what came up during the ceremony. Everybody has their own bed, plenty of space in between each bed. We do a maximum of 9 guests per ceremony.
The curious thing that it can do, this place, is it's both has the atmosphere of communality, of togetherness, so there is very much everyone's together, but the geometry of the place, the way that the 12 sections come into the center of the room, and each bed, each mattress is between one of those 12 sections, you have the feeling that you have your own private slice of it, if you like. Indescribable atmosphere when it is full of people and spirits of this and other times, the spirit of Ayahuasca herself coming in completely individual, bespoke forms to the individuals who are here, and the thread, in my experience, that keeps it together, the energy that holds all of that, keeps it separate and enables individual experience to go on, is the chanting, is the songs, the beautifully primally repeated songs of the curanderos who are holding the space and who are making that connection. That's what the word shaman means. It is the gatekeepers. They are holding the space, holding the doors open to just the right amount between the reality that each individual experiences and understands and that which is possible for them to understand and to experience in this space.
So yeah, we built the maloca. It was a big project, huge. I spent a month on my knees sanding that floor, varnishing that floor, and I thought if I can just get the maloca and the bathrooms working and the guardian house is finished, then we can open, because people can sleep in the maloca and they've got showers and they've got toilets and they've got a place to eat, and that's basic, yeah. And if we can get some people in, then a little bit by bit, I can start expanding. This is what we did. Every maloca I'd ever been in always had a big pole in the middle to the floor to support the roof. And this maloca, I went in and it was that same system, and I'd never seen anything like it, and I was just like, wow, that is amazing. That is a really clever idea. Whoever came up with that way of doing it. So I was like, that's how I'm going to do my maloca. But I'm going to do it different, because it was very big, like twice the size of that, and the floor was very rough, and I was like, no, I wanted a polished hardwood floor, or varnished.
His name is Raúl Bonapico Ramirez. He's 67 years old, and he's part of the Shipibo people. So he began his training and his fasting and his dietas at 17, but he didn't actually start working as a shaman until he was 20.
Mi nombre es Lidia Huayte Ramírez. Desde chiquita.
At 8 years old, I started doing this type of work. My mom taught me how to embroider. From the energy of the medicine with God, who's the most powerful.
Proteger, pedir a nuestro Dios.
We ask God for protection and for power.
Poder.
It's now been 47 years that he's been doing this work since he first encountered Mother Ayahuasca. But it's been 38, the 7th of June, it's been 38 years that he's been able to work freely without any type of obstructions, without any type of blockage in his way. Working with Ayahuasca, piñón, and all these other medicinal herbs that aid in his work. She said if I call on someone, I can send them, I can blow good vibrations to them.
Claro.
Sí. Of course.
Sí.
Absolutely.
Me llama. Por eso me llama todo. Tengo paz no solamente aquí, en todos lugares tengo. Me llama por celular.
She calls him all of the time.
El madre ayahuasca, la medicinales.
Sometimes a lot of his work is physical, and the person that he is curing is present, but sometimes that energy is sent spiritually because the person is far, and they call him and they have pains or they have sores, and he sends the power of Mother Ayahuasca through his prayers.
Eso, mira, ve. Ellos vienen de lejos.
Everyone comes and we receive them with open arms because it's our job, and we treat them with care, and we want to heal and protect them.
A veces vienes asmas, cáncer, diabetes.
A lot of people come with cancer, diabetes, asthma. An illness doesn't wait for you. It just comes. But the healing takes a long time.
Pero para sanar, demora. Por ejemplo, como ustedes, ¿no? Vienes con los espíritus.
A lot of bad spirituality. A lot of people come in with a lot of bad spirits.
Mal aire y descenso y dolor de estómago, dolor de cabeza.
Bad energy, and a lot of those things manifest themselves physically through headaches, stomach aches, sometimes depression, and we cure those things with our 7 mapachos.
So it was like, shit, I gotta get a move on, yeah? So I went looking for land, just riding around on my motorbike around the local area, talking to local people, and found this land in 2 weeks. Was so hard. Oh my God. Don't ever build a road for the jungle. Honestly, it's really soul destroying. And we were doing it during the wet season, so it was raining all the time. It was the wettest wet season, like almost on record. 1 month stretched into 2 months, and then stretched into 3 months, and I was just thinking, oh my God, I've made a huge mistake. I'm going to lose everything. It's costing me so much money, and my money was just going down so fast, and I hadn't even got to the land yet. And I was like, Jesus, I'm not gonna make it, you know. And 3 months later, we managed to actually get to the land, but the track, if it rained, was just impassable. I realized, I thought if I had a good truck, I could get in any terrain. I learned very quickly in the first day that that's not true at all. The truck has its limitations. So we were trying to firm up the track some way. I was bringing in sand, I was bringing in gravel, or not gravel, rubble, and it was just impossible. And I was getting stuck every day, and I'd be there like up to my knees in mud and pissing down the rain, soaking wet, and just screaming and kicking the truck and just going, oh my God, what have I done? I'm really thinking about quitting.
What made you go on?
I accepted the fact that I was getting my ass kicked by the jungle, like many Europeans before, that we come in with this arrogance, that we're going to come in and we're going to dominate and control the jungle. And you learn very quickly, you don't do that, because it's going to be hard. So I actually gave in, and I just said, all right. Found some humility, some respect for it, and just said, it's okay, this is tough, but we're going to get through this.
A veces se van a despedir, a veces lloran.
Sometimes when they say goodbye, they cry.
Acá nomás vienen a encontrar ellos cariño.
They come here and
Yo
just
le
find
atiendo
love.
como a mis hijas. Ella, mira, ve, yo atendido.
Everything here is
porque yo
love.
pensaba,
We take
mi
care of them
mamá
with love.
era así también.
She looks at you, Davina,
Con
and she thinks of her
cariño, yo
mother.
le cura,
Because her mother was
canto,
just like that.
así.
And she looks at me and she thinks of her
Todo es
daughter because her
cariño.
daughter has a
Yo,
complexion
mira,
similar
ve,
to mine.
ahorita te
And
veo
everything
así.
here is love. And
Ay,
everyone that
hija,
we
así es
treat
mi hija,
here and
morenita.
everyone that we heal here, we treat with love as if they were our children.
Hay personas que vienes con muchas enfermedades, ¿no? Puede ser, como
So
te
aside
repito,
from
asma,
the bad
diabetes,
spirits and the bad airs that a
y a
lot of
veces
people
vienes
come in with,
virutes son de
asthma, diabetes, are to
España.
name a few.
Y otras enfermedades, varias enfermedades. Sí. Eso es lo que yo te puedo explicarle, no solamente ahí vienes con mal aire, con mal
Even
espíritu.
some people that come in with chronic
limpia,
back pain,
le
once
cura.
they've experienced the ceremonies and once
Y
the work
paciente
has
se
had
va
its time to
alegre,
settle in,
su
they
cuerpo
go back
aliviado,
home happy and
ya puedes
alleviated
hacer
and with
tu
energy to
ejercicio,
exercise
la
and all of
cansancio que
these
tenía.
chronic pains that are manifestations
Ya.
of maybe more spiritual things.
Entonces tú tomas ayahuasca, te
The
concentras en
curandero
nombre
needs to
del-
take
en nombre del
ayahuasca
paciente.
in order to
Yeah.
see. They need
Y
to
ahí
take
te guía.
ayahuasca and focus
Sí.
on the patient, and in
Entonces
that
la
way you're able
alabanza
to
viene
see
de arriba.
where that person needs help.
Y tú le limpias, limpia. En 3 ceremonias,
And after 3 ceremonies, most people are clean.
sano.
Around here you can see we have hammocks for the guests to hang out on. Perfect day today. So this is the lake. This is where we like to swim. You can even paddle around the canoe. It's nice, fresh, clean water. I always wanted a lake. For my whole years I always thought I want to live by a lake one day. So having a lake for me was because I didn't want to do it on the river, because the river levels go up and down 15 meters per year. So, and sometimes they go up a few extra meters and then suddenly everything you've built is underwater. So, and I knew centers that were on the river and I had that very problem. So I decided I wanted to be far enough from the river that I wasn't affected by the flooding, but I wanted water because I thought people want to swim.
I don't know if they haven't been conscious of fish, but
Frogs. probably.
frogs, lots of frogs. Could be snakes, but not thinking about that.
On the right hand side we have tambos, which are private little huts for people who want to have a bit more space. We have 5 at the moment. We're probably going to build another 1 or 2 more. Very simple little huts, just with a bed and a mosquito net and a little desk and a chair and a small toilet and a hammock, all screened in. This here is what we call flower bath. This is really good for cleaning your energy on the outside. Also got some protective properties in there. So we get our guests to use this every day to basically just bathe themselves with it and let it dry on. It's got about 5 different plants in there. The different plants are piñón, ahosacha, rosa sisa, albahaca and alcanfor. The lake was dry and was full of like roots and sludge about that deep, so we had to dredge the whole lake. I had 8 guys in this lake for like 3 weeks with sleds pulling stuff out of the lake, and then we had to raise the dike, widen it. And then we started building the first house, which I just sketched out a rough diagram because I had no idea. So I said to my workers, luckily I had a good team of workers, and showed them more or less what I wanted. And we plotted it out and they built it. And as they were building it, I was watching them. How are they doing things? And I was like, okay, from that I got a pretty clear idea. Okay, this is how it's done.
The canoe. You want to have a paddle around in the canoe?
So my idea was to keep it small, never go above 8-10 people. My idea was to keep it flexible so that people could come and stay as long as they wanted, whenever they wanted, and not set retreat dates, because that was something that people complained about. The other last one was the thing that everybody complains about when they're visiting the jungle is mosquitoes. So, and I knew there were machines in the States because I had a friend here who had one and he said it worked really well. So it was like 3 things. Yeah.
This is our super duper mosquito machine that keeps the mosquito population to an absolute minimum, so people can spend a lot of time outdoors, which is what we really like. Non-toxic, just attracts the mosquitoes, they fly up, they get caught up in a little net.
I'll be honest, when I first opened I had no clue. I thought I knew about ayahuasca and about plant medicines and about shamanism. And I've learned in the last 3 years that I really knew nothing. I knew nothing. I knew that I needed somebody who knew what they were doing.
Yo me concentro en nombre de la persona y donde sientes, entonces ahí me duele mi cuerpo. Cuando
So
estoy
he's saying that when
ahí
he
lo que yo
focuses on the
Entonces
person
me
that's in
concentro
front of him at the
bien.
moment, it's very important for him to focus and very much connect.
Tu problema es esto.
And whatever ailment that
Acá
person
está el
has, if this person
Acá está.
suffers from back pain, then
Y
he
ahí
will feel the back pain
vamos
and
a
will
hacer
understand that that's where the
tratamiento,
problem exists.
Porque
And
cada
if it's a stomach
ceremonia
pain, then he
y
will feel
cada-
it there.
cada
And the ikaros, the prayers, they may sound, we don't understand
persona
his language,
o cada pasajero
but they are
tienes-
particular to every
no es
single
una
person. The
alabanza.
prayers are different for every single
Tú
patient
tienes
because every single
otro
patient
rezo,
has a
otro
different
ikaros.
ailment.
Y
And though
este
we
es
don't
otro
understand
ikaros.
that, but there are
Este es otro
particularities in the prayers because it's
Ustedes
the
no
healing that's
entienden.
coming from above,
Por
particularly for that person.
Ese pedido de ayahuasca. Ayahuasca tiene su
The power of
poder,
ayahuasca comes
eso
from
es lo que
God. It
estamos
comes from
diciendo,
us
es su
asking
Dios,
God to
fuerte,
protect
su
the
poder,
patient and the people that are
ayuda.
here,
los pasajeros,
the
te
travelers,
ayuda,
is what she
te
calls them.
protege. Eso pedimos.
contactar y su Santa Biblia. En la ceremonia usted no escucha
His holy scripture, his holy Bible. We don't understand when he's singing his ikaros in Shipibo, but it's words from the Bible,
teje,
and it's power and protection that he receives from him.
This is what we call the net. This is just for hanging out on. It's right on the water, so it's nice and cool. Got a little roof on it, some shade. It's a really nice space.
I took part in these courses in London called Insight seminars, you know them? And had at the very end, the last day, I had a heart chakra opening, walking down the road in Primrose Hill in London. And I was literally walking down the road, like this, I couldn't breathe. It was like I had this powerful orgasm in my chest. There was this love coming out of my chest, and there was tears rolling down my cheeks, and there's people in the street looking at me like it was some kind of freak. And yeah, it was life-changing. Really, really blew me away.
We have lots of areas for people to relax, outdoor breakfast bars. People just hang out and have their breakfast or some food, or just do some writing. Nice hanging chairs as well.
Breakfast is porridge with chia and pineapple and coconut, which is currently lumped over the top of some pineapple and papaya and coconut. It's not a very varied menu, but it is delicious.
Being here and just hearing people's different experiences and people from all walks of life has really made me feel so hopeful, and really has made me feel that I can conjure that stillness and that peacefulness within me despite how chaotic my environment is. And I don't know if I necessarily understood that before just a few days here.
I've always wanted to do ayahuasca since I found out about it. I'm into psychedelics in general, and but more so into the concept of healing.
You read online 1,000 things that you shouldn't do before you partake in an ayahuasca ceremony, and I dieted and tried to stay away from greasy foods, and I stopped eating meat for 2 weeks prior to. I wanted to be as clean as possible, and so no meat, no drugs, no alcohol, no sex for 2 weeks before, and I kind of just prepared my mind to just be fearless and setting the intention to be courageous yet vulnerable, to be open and receptive, and to being, having as little expectations as possible, and understanding that in whatever way ayahuasca needed to work on me, it was going to happen, and that I shouldn't expect anything from that, but be open to whatever it was that she felt like she needed to show me or heal in me.
Right, and through into the big house. This house has been a huge project and taken 2 years to complete. We're finally at that stage where it's more or less complete. There's still some finishing touches to do, but you can see some nice areas just to hang out. This is RJ, the cat, who loves papaya. Say hello, RJ. Yeah.
My idea for the center, one was to create, because I like creating spaces and designing stuff, and that's like a passion. That's something I really enjoy. The other part of me was concerned even more, because I had children, that the world was getting in a real mess. Or not the world, people, humans, and that we need to get a move on. Like, if we don't start changing real soon, we're in trouble.
Dining area.
I was suffering really, really badly from this chronic back pain. It was just getting worse and worse and worse, and I didn't know what to do about it. And I was trying everything, and a chiropractor in Lima, an American dude, took extensive x-rays of my back and my spine, and said that I was damaged, and but he could fix me, but he needed 8 months of constant treatment, and I would be in good shape. So I decided to give it a go. And then after 8 months, I said to the guy, I'm still in pain, nothing has changed. I decided to come back to Iquitos, and I was doing lots of diets, like plant dietas, working a lot with coca, which is a really nice plant, like chewing for hours. I was doing that 3 or 4 times a week. Only recently I realized the biggest gift that my children have given me is they made me very driven, very determined. Whereas before I spent years just aimless and not really sure what I wanted to do, and never really getting into anything, never really being confident enough to start something or motivated. Within that first month of knowing that there was a baby on the way, I suddenly just sprang into action. I mean, there was just no stopping me.
Kitchen here. This is the tea station. The kitchen. Everything is solar powered. All the lighting. Library is growing. We've got some really nice books in the library. You've still got some shelves to fill though.
I was trying to get people from Iquitos, putting posters up and stuff, getting my website done. Luckily, a friend of mine in Portugal agreed to make the website for me for free. Dave, thank you, Dave. And started from the bottom, and was lucky. Another guy I knew decided to cancel all of his retreats around that time, and had a load of people who refunded their money back with flights who were supposed to come and drink ayahuasca. So he sent them all to me, which was really, really useful. Saved my life, that. So those first 3 months, I just had enough people just to keep my head above water, because I was literally at bankruptcy. The main way of bringing people to these centers was internet, but I didn't really know anything about websites, how they worked. I thought I just put the website up and then it would be there in the search results, and I realized very quickly that that wasn't the case at all, that it wasn't even coming up in the first 30 pages. So that was worrying me a lot. And then very fortunately they created a website called Ayahuasca, which was like a review site for centers. And within 6 months, we were like in 3rd position out of 50 centers, which was amazing. And we were just, with 6 months after opening, we suddenly were getting this full all the time. And it started stretching and stretching and stretching. And then within a year, we were 3 months booked up. It was amazing. And the reasons were, one was because it was very cheap. I kept the prices really low. 2, because it was flexible as well with dates. So it was a good business plan. It worked. It really worked. From 0 to maybe 8 months, we were doing well, and there was money coming in, and I could start developing the center.
This is the water tanks. This is where the water pressure comes from. The water gets pumped from 2 wells down at the bottom of the hill, pumped up the hill to these 2 tanks. They're about 15 meters above the rest of the center, so that's where we get really good water pressure. Down here we have the solar panels, 4 nice big 160 watt solar panels, gives it plenty of power. The solar power system, 4 big batteries there.
A veces la medicina, los plantas, las medicinas, hay ajosacha, hay piñón, hay bobonsana, chirisanán.
So the different herbs that are used here.
Esos, como ustedes llegan otros pasajeros, le damos tomar. No vamos a dar.
He doesn't choose what herb is for someone. The herb chooses them.
Y esta medicina tienes que tomar esto. Y con eso, tú sientes. Y toma tu ayahuasca.
So as it's almost a calling. As if the
Siguiente,
herb knows who needs them.
Y este es libre ya. Dios sano. Así.
Says the plants.
Por medio de todo es rezo, ícara, todo es ícara. El ícara viene
so
de arriba.
Through his ícaros, everything happens through the ícaros, through the prayers. And he says, when he sings ícaros, he doesn't know what he's singing. It comes from above, and he's just a vessel. And so everything that, all these herbs that people consume, open them up so that when the ayahuasca comes into effect, then the cleansing begins. So we arrive and we're walked through kind of the different herbs that we're going to be intaking throughout the time here and what their purpose is and kind of the sequence of things.
Here's the Ayahuasca. Obviously, like I said, I kind of picked out the best leaves, but you can tell these are all good leaves. Well, we're preparing the plant dietas for the day. We have a couple people dieting Ayahuasca. A couple people diet, or one person dieting piñón. Those are usually the plants we start people off with. The Ayahuasca, as Stace probably told you, is very good for detoxing. Piñón is another this is just a really lovely plant. It does a cleaning out as well. Typically, they say it's also starts to teach you about protection. traditional way to do it would be to soak the plants and then wring them out. Ayahuasca, I'm preparing 5 glasses. So I used about 5 good-sized leaves. Fresh ground up Ayahuasca. All right, and we're gonna add water to it. So that's gonna be, again, we'll just go back over to the main house. I'll do it over there. That's where I got my strainer. Pinon, it's only gonna be 1 serving, so I just put a little water in there. And then again, I always place my intent into it. There's something that I like to do. So it just gets strained into a glass. There you go. We got the Ayahuasca. We got 5 of these to do. So. Yeah, this one needs a little bit more water because it is so spicy. I try to make it palatable, as palatable as possible. This is what the Shipibos in particular, and the Ashanikas, are generally considered to be the most knowledgeable of the plant medicines. This is what they use to, the spirits come in and actually teach them about the healing. There's only so far you can get just drinking the ayahuasca, or at least that's the mentality that the Shipibos have. And it's the plants that further your knowledge.
It's called Ayahuasca. That's the name of the concoction. At the moment we're taking it once a day, and we're on a particular diet which is eliminates all salt and sugar.
You're entering into a relationship with the plants, and I think they're happy when you make sacrifices for them, and the more you put into the diet, the more you're going to get out of it. So the common ones are, you have a very restrictive diet, no salt, no sugar, no oils, no sex. That's a big one. Yeah, so it's a mainly vegetarian diet you can have.
It's looking fabulous. It's on the planter diet. There is rice, lentils that look delicious, avocado.
This food is great, thanks to my sous chef, Eric and Val.
And in all my explorations, I've come across ayahuasca. And ever since I found out about it, I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to try this. And to go out into the jungle and do this, and I want to do it specifically with a shaman.
Ayahuasca works where other techniques don't. I think you could, for example, get really seriously into meditation. But if there, for example, was some really heavy abuse or traumas in childhood, I think it's difficult to actually get through those or heal those just through meditating or any spiritual practice. Ayahuasca, I like to call it cosmic Drano. She just cleans. She cleans.
I definitely feel called to it. I've always felt really called to it, and hadn't felt brave enough before. And now, it was like, no, now. Definitely, when Stephanie was like, oh, I'm going to Peru to do ayahuasca, I was like, it felt like something, it just felt right. It felt like, okay, this is supposed to happen right now.
They've done CAT scans of people with trauma, and they see scar tissue in the brain. The trauma is wired into the brain, and which is why it's very difficult to move past that trauma, because it's actually physically wired into the brain. And then they've done CAT scans of people after ayahuasca, and the brain has actually created a detour around that scar tissue. So it's created a new pathway. I've seen people come here so unhappy, suicidal. I mean, so depressed, so stressed out, so insecure, and leave 2 weeks later just feeling so good. I mean, just rejuvenated, revitalized, just with a new passion for living again.
The shamans are sitting there kind of smoking mapacho, and then everything goes dark, and once everyone has taken the ayahuasca, I was the first one to purge. I was trying so hard. I was like, trying to do the breathing exercises so that I could keep it down. But even before the singing began, I couldn't help it went out.
After a while, it started even feeling good, like just purging, just getting everything out, and I just induced it. So I try to get more and more out. And after a while, I heard her, Mama Ayahuasca, say, "You did good. You did good. You can rest now." And it was so amazing. And I remember looking up and saying, "Thank you, God."
And that was the start of it, and I just launched into this phenomenal trip. It was the best experience I have ever had in my life. The colours were just unbelievable. The shapes and the contours and the kind of variety of what was going on was just out of this world. I was laughing and screaming with happiness. It was so joyful.
And I see that it's really important, the work we're doing, and it's helping a lot of people. But I also see that there are dangers with it. You have to be extremely careful and very attentive all the time. And there have been many cases of people getting into trouble, having bad experiences or worse, just because the people running the show are not taking care of their guests. So I saw that very clearly in the very beginning, that we have to be just vigilant all the time, stay one step ahead all the time, never get lazy, never get complacent. Until now, I would say 99% success rate. That nearly everybody has come away and is feeling much better than when they arrived.
I'm hoping that I can really face those demons and those traumas that I've started the process of unveiling, and I hope that I can really come to terms with all that pain, and all that suffering and all that darkness.
Power would be just rushing into my body like a stream of light, a stream of energy, electricity. My whole body was just like on fire with electricity. It was so much power that I couldn't hold on to it. It was so much power that I had to let it go. It was coming in through my head, it was rushing through my body, and it was surging out of my chest into the room, and it was as if I was channeling energy from, I don't know, some other place.
And we keep in touch with people after they leave, and they're still in good shape. And many of them come back and they do some more work. So I'm not ever saying to people, "Oh, come to drink ayahuasca and to get enlightenment." It's never on the website, or never advertised, or we never tell our guests this. It's just come to the center and do some work on yourself. Do some healing, do some clearing, some cleaning. And we keep it as simple and as informal as possible, and we try and make them feel at home and like we're all family, so that there's no airs and graces, there's no separation between us and them. We like to joke and we take the piss, and keep it grounded, and don't let people fly off too far. If they start getting a bit delusional, or thinking that they're special, they've been chosen by the plant spirits, or they're going to be a great shaman, and we're like, no, just calm down, put your feet back on the ground, just keep it simple, just do the work.
La primera que toma de la ayahuasca, esa es una limpieza general,
When the person first takes ayahuasca, it's a cleaning. And it's a cleaning that happens, bone, skin, in the mind.
Te agarra la mareación, Y después, el maestro, el curandero, te protege.
And then the maestro, the curandero, the shaman, protects the space so that the cleansing can happen. And in the end, the limpieza is where the true healing happens.
Proteger cada persona.
My intention is just show me what you need to show me, Just let me see what it is that I need to deal with, what I need to work with.
I felt all the hairs on my body stand up, almost as if they were antennas. And I just felt, I could feel the changes in air, and every time someone opened the door, I could feel the wind, and my skin became very sensitive.
circular experiences of just delight and joy, and constant vision. The vision lasted for 5 hours.
The shamans, part of their song is to invite good spirits, but also to like keep bad spirits out. So there wasn't that fear of like, yes, you're open and vulnerable because you're under the influence of ayahuasca, but you're not open and vulnerable to everything.
Chanting going on through the whole ceremony. There's constant chanting. The chanting was beautiful. I was flying on this chanting.
It seems that ayahuasca has the potential, has the possibility to wrap around all of those aberrations of the human condition and the human life experience, to wrap around them and to give the opportunity for the individual to confront them, to face them, and to accept them, absorb them, and be shut of them, and move forward. That is what I've been hearing from people that I've spoken to.
I felt a presence. I felt the whole game of being inside, and I felt very, very protected. I felt very loved. I felt very safe. I felt the presence of Baba as well. I felt the presence of God. Even though it was at a distance and it was like a protective thing, it wasn't straight up face to face with God. It was like, no, he's there, he's watching me, I'm safe, it's okay. There was no fear whatsoever.
We call the music and movie room. This is where in between ceremonies people can come and watch a documentary. We have some really nice documentaries on shamanism or spirituality, or play some music, or listen to some music through the speakers, or just play cards, or play Scrabble, or whatever. They like to hang out up here. It's a really nice space.
There's a friend of mine who was going to go and visit in the mountains. I phoned him up to say I was coming to visit, and he said, "Oh, I'm not in the mountains, I'm in Iquitos, drinking ayahuasca." I was like, "Oh, wow, I'll be there tomorrow." So I got a flight the next day and went and drank in this small little centre. And there was no preparation, there was no diet or anything. I turned up and said, "Right, yeah, we're going to be drinking in 2 hours." I was like, "Well," and I just flew that first ceremony. Oh my God, it was so tough. I spent 4 hours just puking, and I had this like newsreel of pain. Every painful experience I've ever had, I think, would just come, and I would see it and feel it, and then start puking. And then kind of finish puking and sit back up, and then the next one would come in. I'd be like, "Oh fuck," and then I'd be puking, and then after 3 times, "Oh, there's obviously a connection here. There's something. I'm getting cleaned." Yeah.
They worked with me. They did the tobacco purge, which actually I volunteered to do because I felt like I had some blockage, like this year as well, and that helped a lot because I kind of got everything out. It helped me like unclog. So we had to drink this juice or brew made out of like tobacco, and it tasted pretty bad. Not as bad as the ayahuasca, but it tastes pretty bad. You just have to like gulp it down. It's like a full glass, or even like, because they gave it to us like in a bucket kind of, and we had to like just drink it all the way, and then we would drink loads of water and throw up. And keep doing that. Drink water, throw up. Drink water, throw up. To get everything out. It's kind of like cleansing. But the negative emotions, the depression, the sadness, just all the crap I had in there. It just gathered it all up and just came out.
It's been an incredible experience. So tough. I mean, people have no idea how difficult it is to build one of these places, for starters, in the jungle, to run one of these places, and also to deal with constant guests with constant issues and problems and dramas and stresses, and it's sometimes really exhausting.
This place had just opened up. I think it was like a week old, you know. So I wrote everybody an email asking about prices and availabilities, and a little tagline, "Oh, by the way, you know, I just quit my job. I'm down here indefinitely, so if there's anything I can do to help, you know, I'd be interested in coming out and volunteering." And Stace got back with me a couple days later. We Skyped some, and I was, you know, I thought, I can work for that guy. You know? he's not a bullshitter. I can work for him. And luckily he felt the same, and he hasn't fired me yet.
We have to stay calm and not get involved emotionally, and just try and pay attention to what's going on with this person. How can we get them through this? You know. So it's been an incredibly educational experience. I mean, I learned so much. We've seen almost 1,000 people in the last 3 years. It's close to 1,000 people from all walks of life: housewives, DJs, lawyers, policemen, from every corner of the world. You know, must be 30, 40 countries, and listening to all of their stories, and seeing them laid bare, and sobbing and crying and in pain, and talking to them and talking them through this stuff. I don't know if there's any other job in the world that is so intense a learning experience.
I'm lucky in that helping people is the only thing that makes me feel good.
It's a hell of a job, and there's been quite a few times where I thought, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Yeah, or there's many times I thought, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done this. But I sit outside, look at the stars and think, this is where I need to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been helped by whoever, God, creator, spirits, I don't know. They've been there the whole time, helping me, pushing me forward.
I'd probably be in line with Stace in that he was the first one to really kind of like pin it down, and I can't disagree with him. I think the biggest thing that we offer here is release of repressed emotions.
In the last 3 years, it's shown me that this physical world that we take for granted, that we think this is it's just a tiny wafer thin fragment of what's really going on. I've seen things and experienced things over the last 3 years that I did not think were possible.
What we Westerners come in with is very different than how the indigenous people have, the way the indigenous people use it. Mm-hmm. Whereas we come in looking for, God or a spiritual connection. Before, that's never what they used it for.
Mm-hmm. What did they use it for?
Just healing.
Ayahuasca is a very beautiful, very powerful healing tool, but depends on the user. And there are many amazing healers in this area that work with it in a positive, nice way. But there is the flip side of the coin. There are others that work with it in a very dark way.
When we started this filming, we had no idea where it was going to go and what was going to happen with it. And we're still not entirely sure. But every person we meet, every time the camera comes out, every time we ask open and honest questions, then we get back the most amazing answers. And it takes extraordinary courage to leave your life, to take time out from your family and your work, and to decide that you are going to do something about yourself. I am so moved by that, and huge sacrifices that have been made by courageous young people looking to make their lives going forward better and make the story going forward different from the story that's happened. And I guess that's what this place is about. It's about giving people that opportunity.
We are so lucky now. We have Raul and Lydia, who I've, from getting to know them better, realized that they are from a very good lineage. And lineage is very important with shamans. The medicine, the way they work with it, and their training is so correct. I mean, it's just impeccable. More impeccable than any other shamans I've ever worked with.
People who are here and who've come here through a calling, they all say the same thing. They were called. They're special people, and they've been specially selected to come here, have their hearts opened, and open their lives and the solutions they've found to other people.
The ceremonies are so quiet and so peaceful. People we're in touch with after leaving here are just so happy and so glowing and positive, because we keep in touch with people for a time period after.
And maybe that's what we're here for, is to make that those stories available, open to anyone else who has the calling and the courage to look at their own life.
Having somebody that really knows what they're doing working with ayahuasca is so important. If you do it with the wrong person, if you do it with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, you're putting your very life in danger. If you do it with somebody who's not a good shaman, who's a bad dude, you're also putting yourself in danger. If you're drinking ayahuasca by yourself without any training and without any knowledge of keeping yourself safe whilst you're working in that spiritual dimension, you're in danger. So I would say, I mean, it's the most important thing. If you're going to do some work with ayahuasca or any plant medicines, find somebody who's really experienced and really good at what they do, because it can go wrong if you're not careful. I am now on the board of a brand new association called the Ayahuasca Safety Association. There's 5 board members. I'm on the board, and we are trying to create a Peruvian association with certain recommendations and even regulations for all the centers operating in Peru to have a certain level of safety and care for all guests. We love the work we do, and we see the benefits of it, but unfortunately ayahuasca has become very lucrative. And when you look at a local person who earns maybe $200 or $300 a month, and then they can make 5 times that in one night in a ceremony for tourists, it's extremely tempting, and it's attracting unsavory characters who are only in it for the money. The juice for me is seeing people heal and seeing people leave glowing and happy, and then receiving emails from them 3 months later and saying, my whole life has changed. Thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't have come out to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And it's those moments, and it's often that happens at the point where I'm feeling low and I'm tired. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do this, maybe I should sell the center. And then I get an email from somebody, a long email explaining about all the amazing stuff that's happened and how their lives have changed, and what you're doing is so important, and please keep doing it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have to keep doing this. This is what I'm doing, my part as far as I'm concerned, to help humanity wake up and grow. It's only a small little tiny corner of the whole, but if everybody does their, or if a good number of people play their part and try and change themselves, try and heal themselves and heal other people, then I think we've got a good chance. I'm really optimistic that human beings, we are going to make it, that we are going to get through this dark period, and we're going to reach the light, the new age.